Tonight, we explore a scenario that could upend the balance of power in Asia, a conflict in the South China Sea. China's navy faces off against the Philippines, but suddenly, North Korea throws its support behind Manila, not Beijing. This unexpected move shakes the foundations of global alliances. Why would North Korea, long seen as China's client, side with the Philippines? The answer lies in deep historical grievances, strategic calculations, and Pyongyang's quest for relevance. We'll uncover the mistrust between North Korea and China, the quiet ties between Pyongyang and Manila, and what Kim Jong-un stands to gain. As tensions escalate in the South China Sea, understanding North Korea's potential involvement is crucial. Such a shift could force the US, Japan, and South Korea to rethink their strategies and create a new axis of resistance to China. Stay with us as we unravel why North Korea might just back the Philippines against its powerful neighbor. To grasp today's crisis, we must revisit the roots of China-Philippines tensions. China claims almost the entire South China Sea, overlapping the Philippines' internationally recognized waters. In 2016, an international tribunal sided with the Philippines, rejecting China's claims. China dismissed the ruling and ramped up its activities, building islands, deploying ships, and harassing Filipino vessels. The Philippines, once cautious, now faces mounting public pressure to stand firm. This isn't just about resources, it's about sovereignty and national pride. China sees the sea as vital to its security and ambitions. The Philippines sees it as its lifeblood. Years of broken promises and maritime standoffs have left Manila searching for new leverage and allies. The stage is set for unexpected partnerships in a bid to counter China's growing power. Now, let's examine North Korea's motives. At its core is Juche, self-reliance, born from war and a history of resisting larger powers. While often seen as China's puppet, North Korea's relationship with Beijing is fraught with suspicion and resentment. Pyongyang resents its dependence on China and has repeatedly defied Beijing, especially with its nuclear program. Kim Jong-un is determined to assert his independence and avoid being a junior partner in China's world order. North Korea's identity is built on defiance, standing with the underdog. When Pyongyang sees the Philippines resisting China, it sees a reflection of its own struggle. This shared narrative of defiance creates a surprising psychological foundation for a potential alliance. For Kim, supporting Manila is a chance to break free from China's shadow. It's a move that fits perfectly with North Korea's ideology and ambitions. The Philippines and North Korea share a quiet, pragmatic diplomatic history. Since 2000, they've maintained low-key but consistent ties, with Manila often serving as a neutral venue for talks. This relationship isn't built on shared values, but on mutual respect for sovereignty and the need for dialogue. The Philippines has condemned North Korea's nuclear tests, but never fully severed ties. This careful balancing act keeps channels open, allowing for potential cooperation if the strategic need arises. While trade is minimal, the diplomatic framework remains intact. This history makes the strategic pivot between Manila and Pyongyang less far-fetched than it seems. As of January 2026, the South China Sea crisis has reached a boiling point. Chinese vessels now openly interfere with Philippine ships, using water cannons and dangerous maneuvers. President Marcos Jr. vows not to yield an inch, while China warns of all necessary measures. Over 400 Chinese maritime incursions have been documented in just 6 months. China's overwhelming presence aims to coerce Manila into submission without open war. The Philippines is scrambling to build a coalition, strengthening ties with the US, Japan, and others. In this volatile context, even symbolic support from North Korea could be a powerful card for Manila. The stakes have never been higher. What's in it for Kim Jong-un? Supporting the Philippines would drive a wedge between China and its neighbors and complicate US strategy. For Kim, it's a chance to assert independence from Beijing and boost his image at home. North Korea could demand food, currency, or diplomatic favors in exchange for support, vital for a regime under sanctions. For Manila, desperate for leverage, even unconventional allies are worth considering. North Korea's involvement would also force the world to pay attention, putting Pyongyang back at the center of Asian geopolitics. It's a high-risk, high-reward move for both sides. The world would have to engage with North Korea to understand its intentions. In this game, relevance is power. An alliance, even symbolic, between Manila and Pyongyang would send shockwaves through the region. The Philippines risks Chinese economic retaliation boycotts, lost tourism, and stalled investments. But closer ties with the US, Japan, and others could offset these losses, shifting Manila's economy away from China. For North Korea, any aid or trade is a win, given its isolation. The broader impact? Instability in the South China Sea would disrupt global trade and raise costs worldwide. North Korea's involvement would amplify uncertainty, rattling markets far beyond Asia. The economic dominoes would fall from Manila to Beijing and across the globe. The stakes are not just regional, but global. Experts agree, North Korea is no longer just China's proxy. Dr. Evelyn Reed notes Kim's main goal is regime survival, and he'll counterbalance China if needed. A retired South Korean general says North Korea's support would be symbolic, but could distract China by threatening a two-front crisis. Pyongyang doesn't need to fight, it just needs to create a credible threat. Economist Dr. Michael Chen warns that Manila must avoid violating UN sanctions if it accepts North Korean support. The risks for the Philippines are immense. Any misstep could alienate its traditional allies. Still, a strategic alignment, diplomatic support, low-level cooperation is possible. Kim's unpredictable diplomacy fits this scenario. In East Asia's chessboard, the Philippines could become a useful pawn in Kim's game against China. For Manila, even a pawn can be a powerful ally in a desperate moment. We're left with a startling vision. The Philippines, a US ally, finding common cause with North Korea. This isn't about ideology, but survival in the face of China's ambitions. Old alliances are fracturing. New transactional partnerships are emerging. For Manila, it's a risky gamble that could bring leverage or new dangers. For North Korea, it's a chance to break out of China's shadow and gain real benefits. For China, it's a strategic setback, proof that its tactics are backfiring. For the US and its allies, it's a wake-up call in an already perilous environment. The South China Sea is now a flashpoint that could redraw the geopolitical map. The next move on this chessboard could change the game for everyone.